The Snail and the Whale. This is a tale of a tiny snail and a great big humpback whale. This is a rock as black as soot, and this is a snail with an itchy foot. The snail slithered all over the rock and gazed at the sea and the ships in the dock. And as she gazed, she sniffed and sighed. The sea is deep, and the world is wide. How I long to sail, said the tiny snail. These are the other snails in the flock, who all stuck tight to the smooth black rock, and said to the snail with the itchy foot, "Be quiet, don't wriggle, stay still, stay put." But the tiny sea snail sighed and sniffed, then cried, "I've got it, I'll lift." This is a trail of the tiny snail, a slippery trail that looped and curled, who lived wanted around the world. This is a whale who came one night, when the tide was high and the stars were bright. The humpback whale, immensely long, who sang to the snail a wonderful song of shimmering ice and coral haze and shooting stars and enormous waves. And this is the tale of the humpback whale. He held it out of the starlit sea and said to the snail, "Come with me." This is the sea so wild and free that carried that whale and the snail on his tail to towering icebergs and far off land with fiery mountains and golden sands. These are the waves that arched and crashed in front of forests and sprayed and splashed. These are the caves beneath the waves. Stripy fish with feathery fins and sharks with hideous toothy wings swam around the whale and the snail on his tail. This is the sky so vast and high, sometimes sunny and blue and warm, sometimes filled with thunderstorms, with zigzag lightning and flashing and frightening the tiny snail on the tail of the whale. She gazed at the sky, the sea and the land, the waves and the cave, and the golden sand. She gazed and gazed, so amazed by it all, and she said to the whale, "I feel so small." But then came the day when the whale lost its way. These are speedboats running a race, zigzagging, zooming all over the place, upsetting the whale with their ear-splitting roar, making him swim to close to the shore. This is the tide slipping away, and this is the whale lying beached in the bay. "Quick, off the sand, back to the sea," cried the snail. "I can't move on land, I'm too big," moaned the whale. The snail felt hopeless and terribly small. Then, "I've got it," she said, and started to crawl. "I must not fail," said the tiny snail. This is the bell in the school in the bay. Ding, ding. Ding, ding, ringing the children in from their play. This is the teacher holding her chalk, telling the class, "Sit straight, don't talk." This is the bird as black as soot, and this is the snail with an itchy foot. "A snail! A snail!" The teacher turns pale. "Look!" they say to the children, "It's leaving a trail." This is the trail of the tiny snail, a silvery trail saying, "Save the whale." There are the children running from school, fetching the firemen, digging a pool, squirting and spraying to keep the whale cool. This is the tide coming into the bay, and these are the villagers shouting, "Hooray!" as the whale and the snail travel safely away. Back to the dock and the frog on the rock, who said, "How's time flown, and haven't you grown?" And the whale and the snail had told a wonderful tale of shimmering ice and coral shooting star, an enormous wave. And how the snail, so small and frail, with her loopy curling silvery tail, saves the life of the humpback whale. Then the humpback whale held out his tail, and on it pulled after snail, after snail, after snail, after snail, after snail. And they sang to the sea as they all set sail on the tail of the great blue humpback whale.
The end.
Once upon a time, there were 3 bears who lived in a little house in the woods. Father Bear was a very big bear. Mother Bear was a medium-sized bear. Baby Bear was just a tiny little bear. One morning, Mother Bear cooked some porridge for breakfast. She put it into 3 bowls. There was a very big bowl for Mother Bear, a medium-sized bowl for Mother Bear, and a tiny little bowl for Baby Bear. The porridge was rather so hot that 3 bears decided to go for a walk in the wood while cool. Now at the edge of the wood, in another little house, there lived a little girl. Her golden hair was so long that she could sit on it. She was called Goldilocks. On the very same morning before breakfast, Goldilocks also went for a walk in the wood. Soon, Goldilocks came to the little house where the 3 bears lived. The door was open and she peeked inside. When she saw that no one was in there, she walked straight in. Goldilocks set the 3 bowls of porridge and the 3 spoons on the table. The porridge smelled good and Goldilocks was hungry. Goldilocks picked up the very big spoon and tasted the porridge to the very big bowl. It was too hot. Ouch! Then she picked up the medium-sized spoon and tasted the porridge in the medium-sized bowl. It was too lumpy. Then she picked up the tiny little spoon and tasted the porridge in a tiny little bowl. It was just right. Soon she had eaten it all up. Then Goldilocks saw 3 chairs, a very big chair, a medium-sized chair, and a tiny little chair. She sat in the very big chair. It was too high. She sat in the medium-sized chair. It was too high. Then she sat in the tiny little chair. It was just right. But oh dear, Goldilocks had broken the tiny little chair and she was very sorry. Next, Goldilocks went into the bedroom. There she saw 3 beds, a very big bed, a medium-sized bed, and a tiny little bed. She felt tired and she thought she would like to take a turn and sit. So Goldilocks climbed up onto the very big bed. It was too hard. Then she climbed up onto the medium-sized bed. It was too soft. Then Goldilocks lay down onto the tiny little bed. It was just right. Soon she was fast asleep. Before long, the 3 bears came home for breakfast. Father Bear looked at his very big porridge bowl and said in a very loud voice, "Who has been eating my porridge?" Mother Bear looked at her medium-sized porridge bowl and said in a medium-sized voice, "Who has been eating my porridge?" Baby Bear looked at his tiny little porridge bowl and said in a tiny little voice, "Who has been eating my porridge and has eaten it all up?" Next, Father Bear looked at his very big chair. "Who has been sitting in my chair?" he asked in a very loud voice. Then Mother Bear looked at her medium-sized chair. "Who has been sitting in my chair?" she asked in a medium-sized voice. Then Baby Bear looked at his tiny little chair. "Who has been sitting in my chair and has broken it?" she asked in a tiny little voice. Next, the 3 bears went into the bedroom. Father Bear looked at his very big bag. Who has been lying on my bed? She asked in a very loud voice. Mother Bear looked at her medium-sized bed. Who has been lying on my bed? She asked in a medium-sized voice. Baby Bear looked at his tiny little bed. Here she is! Baby Bear, he cried, making his tiny little voice as loud as he could. Here's the naughty girl who has eaten my porridge and broken my chair. Here she is. At the sound of their voices, Goldilocks woke up. When she saw the three bears, she jumped off the bed in fright. She rushed down the stairs to the cottage door and disappeared in the wood. By the time the three bears reached the door, Goldilocks was out of sight. The three bears never saw her again. The end. A long time ago, there was a rabbit who wouldn't stop teasing a tortoise for his slowness. I am the fastest runner and you are the slowest one, he yelled. One day, the tortoise, tired of the rabbit showing off, agreed to have a running competition. You may be fast, but I am steady, he said. The next day, the tortoise and the rabbit stood at the start, ready for the race. 1, 2, 3, go! And they started running. The rabbit was a long way in front of the tortoise when he saw a field of cabbages. He looked back and almost couldn't see the tortoise. He shouted at the tortoise, "Take your time, I'll have a snack first." When he had finished eating, the rabbit looked around to see the tortoise a few steps away. He still hadn't passed halfway. Feeling sleepy after his nap, the rabbit thought to himself, "I will have a quick nap first. When I wake up, I will quickly run past the finish line." He fell into a deep sleep and dreamed about winning the competition. Time passed and the sun was already setting. When the hare woke up, he jumped and looked around to see the tortoise a few steps away from the finish line. The rabbit rushed towards the finish line as fast as he could, but the tortoise was already crossing it, winning the competition. You don't always have to be the fastest to win, the tortoise told the rabbit, who cried in regret. The end. Ugly Duckling. It was a warm summer's day. Mommy Duck wriggled excitedly on her nest. She could hear a tapping noise. Tap, tap, tap. Click, 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 Mommy Duck called to the other ducks. My eggs are hatching. Come and see. One by one the eggs hatched and out popped 6 little yellow ducklings. The other ducks sighed. What sweet little ducklings. Mommy Duck beamed with pride, but the biggest egg of all still had not opened. Mommy Duck was sure she only laid 6 eggs. Just then the final egg burst open. The last duckling was a little more yellow. What an ugly duckling, quacked an old duck. He's not ugly, he's special, said Mommy Duck. The next day, Mommy Duck took her ducklings to meet the other farm animals. came to a river where some geese were diving for food. "Excuse me," the ugly duckling began bravely. "Have you seen any ducklings like me?" "No, you're the strangest looking duckling we've ever seen," the geese honked. "Honk, honk." The ugly duckling waddled quickly away. He kept on going until he came to a large lake. "If nobody wants me, then I'll just hide here forever," he sniffed sadly. "Ribbit!" croaked the frog. "What a funny looking duckling." Fall came and the leaves turned gold. One evening, just as the sun was setting, the ugly duckling saw a flock of beautiful white birds flying gracefully across the sky. "I wish I looked like them," he sighed. All through winter, the ugly duckling hid in the reeds, afraid to show his face. When spring arrived, the ugly duckling peered out of his hiding place. A graceful swan paddled up to him. He backed away, afraid he would be teased. "Why are you hiding here?" the swan asked. "Come join the rest of us." The ugly duckling was shocked. Surely the swan must be talking to someone else. But then he saw his reflection in the lake. He was surprised. His gray feathers are now white. "I am a swan. I am not an ugly duckling at all," he said happily. Just then a family of 6 young ducks waddled along the riverbank with their mother. "Look at that beautiful swan," they clapped. "Quack!" Mommy Duck recognized her ugly duckling at once. "I